Take a booming economy that has a growing appetite for energy and add it to a crippled energy supply line that is at the mercy of the elements and frequent power cuts, and you'll get a need for more renewable energy. Well, it's the current buzzword that has electrified the energy sector in Kenya. So let's delve into the latest developments. We've got James Wakaba, the regional manager at the Global Village Energy Partnership, joining us from Nairobi. James, great to have you on Closing Bell. Let's talk about this Global Village Energy Partnership. Of course, you manage the African division of it. What exactly do you do?
Yeah, Global Village Energy Partnership is an NGO that is registered in the UK and has most of its operations in Africa. Our intervention is on the energy access, where globally we have a big energy access problem. 1.6 billion people don't have access to modern energy. I'm talking about electricity, modern cooking, and phone charging services. And so to intervene in this area, GVEP has chosen to work with enterprises in the energy sector. By helping enterprises to thrive and grow, then they can spread the energy products and services further out there to the people who don't have that access. Mm-hmm. The problem of energy access can be solved in one part by interventions of grid extension by the big power companies, but research shows that 60% of the problem can only be addressed by off-grid or mini-grid solutions out there, where the modern grids will not be able to reach, certainly not by the year 2030, where we have an ambition as a globe led by the United Nations to have universal access to energy by all.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, the focus, I suppose, from your perspective would be more on entrepreneurs, energy entrepreneurs, and looking at the production side of the energy supply chain as opposed to trying to get the energy to the consumer. So give us an example of one of the entrepreneurs or one of the energy producers that you've helped to fund and is up and running and got a successful case model right now.
Yes, I'll give an example of a business, an energy business in a town called Nakuru in central Kenya, who does the business of selling solar products as well as modern cooking products. I'm talking about efficient modern cook stoves that use firewood and charcoal, but are much more efficient than the traditional methods. So this company was a very small company in Nakuru. They did not have the requisite business skills to expand and therefore be able to sell these products further out there. They did not have the skills to do marketing. They did not have access to finance. And through the intervention of GVEP, this company, first of all, the owner was trained in managing a business, managing a modern business, everything from bookkeeping to break-even analysis to marketing. And then he was taught on how to keep the high quality products and how to distinguish between low quality and high quality products. He was helped to establish a franchise network where he now has small distributors all over his area, and he covers an area of about 100 square kilometers. He was also linked to finance through a loan guarantee program that enabled the banks who were previously shy to intervene in his business. They agreed to lend him money, and he was able to expand his operations. And now the areas in which his franchisees are operating are areas that were far from the town of Nakuru, and those products and services were not available. But now we have increasingly large numbers of people who are able to buy modern solar products, who are able to buy modern cooking products, who are able to access phone charging services.
I mean, James, it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure these are obviously individual products that people can use to charge their phones or to cook. But when you're talking about the broader needs of an economy, the energy needs to drive infrastructure, to drive construction, to drive industrialization to a degree. I mean, isn't this a business of economies of scale, or can the two models that you have work together?
Yes, we not only intervene on businesses like the one I've mentioned, but also on project developers who are developing small off-grid solutions. For example, in Tanzania, and we are working with 6 project developers who are developing small hydro projects which will feed small mini-grids in far-flung areas away from the normal grid. And we realize that those people face a lot of early-stage challenges in doing feasibility studies, in doing things like studies on the hydrology of the area, in developing a modern business plan, in coming up with a financial structure that can be sold to investors. And by intervening in those early stage areas, GVEP has been able to get those people to come up with business plans and financial structures that can attract investors who can then invest in their businesses. Mm-hmm. And these are SME businesses that are in the $1 million range. And by having many of these thriving out there, these are able to revolutionize the way energy is accessed out there, and can lead to a lot of productive use applications. I mean, when you have a 3 megawatt plant in a far-flung area where the grid is not likely to reach in the next 20 years, you can change the economics of that town, because now people have energy, they can start small industries, they can start welding services, they can start salons,
so
and
James,
other productive use businesses.
Yeah, I mean, makes a lot of sense. What is GVEP's 5-year goal, if you could call it that? How do you see yourself getting to that? And what would you say right now is the biggest impediment to reaching your longer term goal?
Well, the only impediment we have is funding. We are lucky that we have some very good donors who have given us funding in the last 5 years. I'm talking about large donors like the European Union, the World Bank, and the Swedish SIDA. But we would be quite happy to get much more funding so that we can continue having those interventions in areas where governments and large corporations are not likely to be present in the next decade or so. Mm-hmm. So our only impediment is the amount of financing or funding that as an NGO we are able to access.